Hello, everybody, or all 11 of you that are watching so far. Welcome to the 2022 Regina Classic Press Conference. Media folks, thanks for joining us. A little change around this time from TPC. So I'm your host, Daryl Bradley. Today we have Stacey Sanderson Weber. I see you've got your full name up there today, Stacey.
That is it.
Hendo Brett Hendrickson. Thanks for joining us, guys. Thanks for helping out with the press conference tonight. Stacey, excited?
Yeah, totally. Right. Get to talk to top people, get to see what's going on, what everybody's thinking. You know, another tournament after big COVID shutdown. So it's exciting.
Yeah. And now you're not coming to play, but I know you've got lots of family members and people from your area coming to play. So kind of fun to watch from afar and to see how they're going to do and get heading out that way tomorrow, I believe, right?
Yes. Yeah. They're all flying out tomorrow.
Nice. And Hendo, yourself, I believe you're in the lineup coming out Friday. So going to come join into the competition. What are you looking for here this weekend, buddy?
Well, I'm looking forward to going out and firing a solid 1875, being really upset with myself, thinking it's going to go better the next day and chucking a 1950 and feeling good if I just threw a couple more good shots.
Just a couple more. Only needed another 240.
That's right. Just a couple more good balls out of made the cut.
Yeah, couple more every game. Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah,
I'll be there with you, but maybe another 100 pins above you. Hey,
that's pretty ambitious, Daryl.
A little side bet, I guess. Hey,
yeah.
Love it. Well, thanks for joining us here press conference tonight. Obviously, super excited to have a list of guests. Got a couple of announcements later on. Got really good guests. Going to talk to, obviously, past champion Tyler Titkat. We've got Warren Fleischiker with the Golden Mile coming on soon. We've got Mitch Davies coming up that just won a tournament in Timmins. Excited to talk to him. Brad Mullins, who's gone deep in this tournament before. You know, number Karen Armstrong, part of the Fab Five. So yeah, everybody, if you're there watching, share this video, share the link. Let's get pumped up for the Regina Classic. So if you guys are ready, I'm ready. We're going to pull in our first guest, Warren, and chat with him soon. All right, welcome to the show, Warren. Thanks for joining us. First up, you, of course, get the pressure of, first great question of the day. And I'm honored to ask the first question. I think everybody wants to know, what's the weather going to be in Regina?
That's I should have a weather map behind me here. It's been cold, but it is warming up. So, and it doesn't show any snow in the forecast. So as of today, it looks pretty good.
Yeah, if we've seen people coming in from out of town already, and some people, from Winnipeg, roads look clear. Myself, I'm driving out tomorrow. So obviously, number one is for everybody to get there safe and travel well so they can play. Well, lost the voice there, guys.
Yeah, it's played a part in past tournaments before, especially from Winnipeg, when we've had a storm roll in and so on. So cross your fingers, and it looks good. And hopefully they get parts of the highway open, and we're ready to go.
Nice work. Stacey, let's go to you.
Hey, Warren, Stacey here.
Hey, Stace.
So I think that you probably are as excited as the rest of us to be hosting a tournament again. So I guess my question is, how are the entries looking? How's the pinfall looking? You guys ready to go?
Yeah, after 2 years, it doesn't. In some ways, it seems like last year, and then in other ways, it seems like 5 years ago, but 2 years ago, yeah. So last time we ran, it was 2020. So we are excited, Kevin and Dawn and the whole staff at the Golden Mile, our committee, everybody's kind of geared up and ready to go. The entries look really good. We were at about 150 different people or so, and we're almost full on every shift. There is room on every shift still, except for maybe Saturday afternoon, but there's lots of movement, and there should be lots of room for those wanting to get in.
Excellent. How's the pinfall?
Yeah, pinfall's been good. It's consistent at the mile. That's one thing it's kind of known for. as consistent as a bowling center can be, I guess, for 16 lanes. I mean, there's always certain lanes and certain ends of the house that play different, but for the most part, the consistency's there, and everybody's got to play on the same lanes. So that's fair for everyone.
Excellent.
Awesome. So Warren, big question here. So what's the lane dressing schedule like? When are we getting the lanes oiled? What's it going to look like? Is it going to be heavy? Are we throwing straight bullets down the middle? Are we going to get some movement? What's going on?
Yeah, you can expect pretty much what you have got in the past. It's done automatically. It's not done manually, right? It's done with the machine. So it's done every day at the same time. So it'll be done at the beginning of each day. So you should see consistency every day.
Awesome. Is it one of those the big heavy machines that you got to haul from lane to lane, and
yeah,
you push the button,
yeah,
it goes
it drives
up and down?
itself down the lane, cleans the lane, and then conditions it. Correct.
Would you say, compared to some of the other alley houses in Regina, are you guys a little bit straighter? Are you guys got a little bit more break than the other centers, or?
We're all synthetic except for the Nortown in Regina, so there's still wood. So there's probably a little more movement there. But the synthetic houses, Glencairn and us, I believe, are pretty similar on the lane. Pinfall may be a little different, but it's has to do with a bunch of things, as we all know, bands and bases and so on. But everything's at top notch. Donnie's got that all looked after, and you guys will be happy.
Awesome, thank you.
That's awesome. Looking forward to playing. Warren, can you just chat a little bit about the prestige of hosting a tournament on the WCBT tour, and what it means for the Golden Mile to be able to host a tournament this size and to have the best players coming in across the country, flocking to Regina, throwing their money, trying to win some, obviously. But what does this just mean from a proprietor and from a bowling alley standpoint to be able to host a tournament like this?
Yeah, back in 2007 when Rick Schaefer became general manager, he wanted to bring back the Coca-Cola Classic, and we renamed it the Regina Classic a couple of years later. But it's really, it's really found its niche in the bowling schedule, and it's an exciting tournament. Our goal when we brought the tournament back, and we've have pretty much the same committee since 2007, was to be a professional tournament and to run on time, try to give more of a professional look to things. And we hope that's where it's gone. And, when the WCBT came around, and then that was their goal, their mission is to bring, professionalism to 5-pin bowling. So we're basically partnered that way, and it's quite a good partnership. And, we all have the same goals. We want to see the sport get better and grow. And we want to see quality tournaments and how they're run and so on. And 2 years ago in 2022, we had a record-breaking entries at 268, and that's the highest we've ever been, and gave over 80,500 in prize money. So, I mean, it's no small peanuts anymore. I remember the days when we tried to get 125 or 150 entries. So it has grown, and we're excited.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I know that you're exactly right. It is a staple now on the schedule that for the most part, most of the people from the West are coming there. A lot of people from the East or Central would maybe do a little bit more of the Timmins. But that's fine. But so I know that a lot of people, that if you look at Regina, you look at February, that's Regina Classic is the tournament to be going to. So good on you for building something. And, obviously, be huge numbers this year for people coming to play.
Yeah, we're expecting, we're expecting numbers to be, with 150 plus different bowlers. Our math tells us, we should be at least in that 250 plus shifts, entries, if not more. So.
Now, can you chat a little bit about some of the, bowlers that maybe per se that you would have your eye on? Maybe there's some local bowlers, some, league bowlers that maybe wouldn't normally play in a tournament. What sort of support or whatnot are you seeing from somebody? Or for that sake, Warren, some of the players coming in from out of town that you're excited to see come back and come and play again? chat a bit about the people coming to play on the lanes this weekend.
Yeah, like you said, we're often we see from many provinces, BC, Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario. I know the Quebec few that come from there aren't able to make it this year. I see Walt Brooks' name's on the list from Baltimore, and that's always exciting to have Walt come. So we really garnish a lot of different provinces and people from all over. Locally, I always like to look for kind of who's really in their stride right now, and I think of even though Danny Bear, Taylor McCaw would be two of kind of the local ones to look out for, and I'm no doubt I'm missing some. That's a good question to ask Brad. Brad Mones obviously is this is one of Brad's tournaments where he's finished twice and he's won both sides, and he's and you guys will get to pick his brain a little bit later. Mitch Davies is always ever since he first came to the tournament, I've always kind of liked his moxie and a little bit of fire there, and that's always fun to watch and get behind, for sure. And the Cat boys, they're really watching them bowl they're like machines, little machines, and I mean they're awesome. And so Alberta's always supported us well, and as well as Manitoba really well, and so we're excited to see everybody and see where it goes.
Awesome. So Warren, can you describe to us the two special events, so the Thursday night and the Friday night event, and what's your favorite? It could be one that you run, it could be one from another tour event, or maybe another tournament somewhere that you've been involved in or seen. What's your favorite side event for these tournaments?
Yeah, and it's interesting that most tournaments have a different side event or a different way of doing it, the Bakers and so on, when we're talking about Red Deer or Edmonton compared to maybe what we do, so the Bakers are always fun. That's a fun kind of side tournament, and you see everybody, they're serious, but they're not serious, and they're having fun. And it's a good relaxing few hours on the Friday night, and Bakers are always exciting. The team challenge came a few years ago to us, and we really wanted to have more of a team match play event, and we would love to have a 4-player team, but with timing and such, it just hasn't kind of worked in that we'd be able to schedule it. But so we had to go with a 3-player team, and that's fun when you get to see. And not often in our sport do we see teams bowl match play for money. So this is kind of one of those unique times, and I really enjoy the team challenge, and it definitely like anything could be tweaked and fixed a little bit maybe, and we're always open to suggestions and ideas with that. But I mean, I love the idea of teams playing for money again, because we know we don't see it in our sport.
So, as somebody who has finished 32nd, when was the decision made to give the 32nd spot a free entry into the next year's tournament, and why couldn't you have done that a few years earlier?
It's one thing. Well, normally we go to Joel Mamsher, probably. He seemed to be 32 quite often. But you know what? We, as a committee, we sit down every year and we like to do something a little different. And last year we thought, what about the Bubble Boy? Let's give the Bubble Boy an entry. Are we doing it again this year? I can't speak to that. But we do have some ideas. We always like to do something a little different and give back a little bit. And we're lucky to be able to do so where we can. But we always thought it was a neat idea to do the Bubble Boy.
Any specials? Any new things on the menu this weekend we can look forward to?
Yeah, the Gold Mile, that's one thing we have is, we got top-notch kitchen and staff, and you'll get all the quality, food and drink. As for specials, that's more Kevin's area, so I would have to defer to him. But he was talking about doing some different things and some easy things. People who don't want a full meal, something a little smaller portion-wise. So
And can you chat a little bit about the live streaming? Obviously, there's the unique feature too about Golden Mile is that we can live in and see the score even live stream. So maybe chat a little bit there where we can find all that information. I'm sure there's lots of YouTubes, Facebooks, WCBTs, 5-pin U's, all these things. But from your standpoint, where are we going to see the action?
Yeah, goldenmilebowl.com/bowling or /tournaments is where it gets you right to our page. Easier to probably go to Facebook and go off the link from Facebook from our page on the Regina Classic Facebook page. So that's where you get into where the stats, and we've Christy Schaefer Wayman has really cleaned this up and made it better for us this year. So we're excited to see that, where the stats are easier to access, as well as the live scoring and the cameras for the different lanes. And there's cameras on lanes 3 to 14. So different sets. You can watch either the scoring, like you mentioned, or on the live feed. And the stats our team is really good at the stats, and I really think it's that's one thing that we take pride into, is getting the stats out, because we know everybody is watching from who can't come and so on, and it's important that they can follow along. And I think it's important for not only our tournament but for the sport. So yeah, all those good things. goldenmilebowl.com/bowling/tournaments.
I'm sure there'll be lots of links and sort of sites that people will be sharing over the weekend. But the important thing is that people are going to find that information, and it's going to be available. So we'll keep it up to date. Warren, last question here, I guess, is, what are you looking to get out of the weekend? And to build on that, if there's anything that the bowlers could do to also make this a successful weekend, or what is it that they could do to help things, or is it saying thank you to volunteers, or what is it that ultimately determines this weekend as a success for Golden Mile?
Yeah, it's great point. I mean, it's our committee that really runs the tournament and does all the legwork. So if you do see them, like often the committees talk to when there's a complaint or an issue or something. But to be patient with them. It's been 2 years for us. We're a little rusty, at the tournament. So I think I think that's give us that, and anytime just a smile and say thank you is much appreciated. We're really looking forward to it. And the last year we ran in 2020 was a great year. We had piles more entries, piles more bowlers, and it was smooth sailing. So we're looking for that again, and there's no reason why we can't expect that. I think we're going to see north of that 268 entries. I'm hoping, which would give us a new record. And, anytime we're almost getting close to that $100,000 of prize money, that's something to really be spoken for.
That's awesome. Actually, I lied. It wasn't the last question, but from a proprietor standpoint, what do you guesstimate the cut to be?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I was looking at that the other day because it's kind of interesting to me. And, I was, it was 2185 in 2020 and 2165, and then 2208 the year before. So that kind of gives us, we're right about that. I would say it's probably around that 2180, 2190. That would be an honest guess.
Wow. So you heard it here, folks. First, Warren suggests you need to be shooting 2200 to make the cut. A little bit lower than that, but you're coming in and you're aiming to shoot 2200.
2091. There we go.
There you go. That's mark it down. Well, thanks for joining us, Warren. Obviously, a great pleasure to have you on. We're really looking forward to come and seeing Golden Mile. It's been a long time for a lot of us. Fantastic place, fantastic crew, fantastic volunteers, and just looking forward to seeing some great bowling out there.
Well, thank you for having us on tonight and to speak for the Regina Classic. We look forward to seeing everybody and safe travels to Regina for everybody. We are looking for 2 teams yet for the Thursday team showdown, which is tomorrow. So if you know somebody and somebody else, we will take you by all means. And we're looking forward to the weekend. Safe travels.
Sounds good. Thanks, Warren.
Thank you.
quick break. We'll be back with our next guest, everybody. And here we are, loaded up with our past champion, who is holding this title for the last 2 years now, Tyler. But welcome to the press conference, Tyler Titgat, 2020 Regina Classic champion.
Thanks for having me.
Stacy, you're up first for this one.
All right. Hey, buddy.
Hi.
The list of questions for my household is crazy for you. But I'm going to start out with, because, you know, last week, you and I were together at the Youth Challenge Provincials. So coming from a youth bowler into like now more into the adult tournaments, how do you keep your expectations on that higher level all the time?
It's a good question. I think it's all about having perspective. It's one thing to have high standards, and it's another thing to have unrealistic standards. In the youth, I think my standards were to win every time. And as I got to the end of my career, I realized that's not always reasonable. So going into the adult events, I really needed to make sure that I was approaching it with an appropriate mindset of, you can finish well, but you are not going to win every single time. It's unreasonable. There is too many successful players in our game to have that expectation. So it's just a little bit of humility, honestly. That's how I keep it real.
Well, I'm going to sneak this one in here over Daryl and Brett, because Rich just handed me a note. And it says, "Hey, Tyler, I also have a brother who bowls and is very good. His name is Dave." Do you and Bradley have a sibling rivalry when you face each other? And who do you think has the upper hand?
We used to. I think now, not as much. There's a lot more team stuff for us to do. Again, in the adult ranks, in the youth, it was Brad and I for singles most of the time. And now in the adults, I mean, Alberta is too strong of a province for it to just be the two of us. So we've definitely gotten a lot more cooperative in our bowling, I'm going to say. As for the upper hand, I'm going to say me, because I like me and I hope I win.
Of course you do.
Yeah. I don't know. It's really depends on the day. I can't say it's one or the other.
Well, it's true.
Awesome. Tyler, hair's looking good. Got a question for you. How happy are you that this is not being played at Paradise? I'm just kidding. That's not my question. My question is how's your season gone so far? And do you do anything different leading up to an event?
That's a great question and a wonderful joke. You're so kind. My season has been actually very well without Paradise. Obviously, Autumn Open did not go the way that I wanted to. But I find that that's okay. The rest of my season has been very successful. I've had a great time at Masters, and the Open was a lot of fun and finished well for me. I think, there's not too much to say other than I've been doing as anything a pro athlete would. I've been mentally preparing, going over the things that I do at the successful tournaments and reminding myself why those worked. As in terms of physical game, I'm working a full-time job and a part-time job at the moment. So I haven't had a lot of time to practice physically, but I don't think that's a huge concern considering how much bowling we do in general in Alberta.
Awesome. Thank you. Jay Brains.
Hi, Tyler. Nice to see you. So since you mentioned, that your schedule is more cramped these days, and that means maybe spending less time on the lanes, have you taken that as an opportunity to sort of take your foot off the gas a little bit, or have you been sort of looking for the little moments throughout the day to do a little bit of extra mental practice to try to make up for the fact that maybe you're not on the lanes quite as much?
I to say, would I take my foot off the gas? Absolutely not. I think anyone who knows me knows that I am an insanely competitive person, and
In the
There's
best
not
possible way.
yes, there's not a moment of the day where I'm not trying to be the best at whatever I'm doing. So yeah, I have been mentally practicing. I even at work right now, I am watching videos of old Regina classics and old CBCs and old TSNs. I want to be mentally in the game because I can't be there physically. So I watch bowling and then I'll go back and watch my own videos and say, why did that ball work? Why did that one not? And then I'll just go over, how the rest of my tournaments have gone this year, especially with Masters and how consistent I've been there. I really take the time to reflect what was my mindset, what worked well that day, when did I maybe have a mistake and why did I let it snowball? So that's kind of what I do when I'm not able to be at the lanes working on the game physically.
So are you finding those little like 2-minute practice, 2-minute mental things to do during the day? Or is it more like, okay, I can sit here for 10 minutes, watch something, think about, reflect, that kind of thing?
Bit of both. I take those longer breaks when I can to watch some bowling. But definitely throughout the day, I'll be like, hey, I remember at Masters at that first set, I, was doing all right, but those last three, I threw 1,073 for my last 3 games. Why did that work? And I'll go, oh, right. I watched my spot every single shot for 30 frames. So yeah, bit of both.
Nice.
Tyler, thinking back to a couple of years ago, obviously at the Regina Classic when you won, specifically, can you remember the line that you were playing, or what it was about what ball you were using, or what was it about that day that just continually had success over and over, knocking down people to ultimately become the winner?
Yeah, I do not remember the line that I was playing. I know I was throwing hard rolls that are actually now gone because they were stolen. But I have the exact same size and same material. So I have the same bowling balls. I think for me, again, that the success that day, if we go back to the podcast that JB and I did right after, I said I felt mentally exhausted after that tournament because I really had to focus on every single shot. It was not a weekend where I felt in the zone or it just came easily. It was breaking down the mechanics of the game and doing exactly what I needed to do on every single shot from the moment I stepped on the lane to the moment that ball left my hand.
That's some pretty deep thinking, but it's amazing to think that that's what it takes in order to be a champion, is to really focus on every single shot. So interested to see other people's perspective as they come up on this. But it was impressive to watch, obviously, and having you win that title. Does it get easier being, you're still relatively young, but yet very seasoned veteran when winning and doing very well? Does it get easier or does it get more comfortable as you continue to have success?
No. As I say, and I'll say it all the time, our game is too deep. There's too many good bowlers. You can't get comfortable. You can't get complacent. I'm always nervous. I always get tummy issues before because I'm so nervous about bowling. All I can think about is, God, just make the cut. Just make the cut. So no, it does not get easier. It does not get less stressful.
All right, Tyler, I guess the last thing I got to ask you today is, what do you think the cut's going to be?
Oh, that's my least favorite question, Stacey.
I'm sorry.
Below me is what I hope it is. Numbers wise, I don't know how Regina's been playing this year, but I'm going to go 21-92.
Oh, wow.
That's my
it's like number. The Price is Right. One above.
One above.
Yeah.
One above.
Yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck, Tyler. Obviously, drive safe, get there, and then look forward to seeing you defend your title at the Regina Classic. So we'll see you in a couple of days.
Thanks. I'm excited to see everyone.
All right, and next up, but before we introduce you, Mr. Brad Moens, I just did introduce you. See how I did that? JB Rainsbigger made his way into the back room. JB, thanks for joining us, welcoming us again on the media panel for the day. So thanks, sir. Brad Moens, welcome to the press conference. 2015 Regina Classic champion. I believe rumor has it that you ran both sides, something like that. I'm sure there's going to be questions along those lines.
Yeah, that's correct.
Hendo, you're first up, buddy.
Awesome. Hello, Brad.
Hello.
So, whenever people are talking about people they want to see play more, or people that they love to watch bowl, or people that are favorites going into tournaments, your name always comes up. Now, does that put more pressure on you? I'm sure you like to hear it as a competitor, but does that put more pressure on you when you go into these things? And what do you think it is about your game that puts you in that category for people?
Answering the first question, no, I don't feel it puts much more pressure on myself. A lot of people can have expectations as high as they want for somebody else, and as long as I keep my expectations grounded to where I feel my skills are, I can perform based on what I've done in the past and kind of what I'm feeling that weekend. So I don't think pressure kind of from outside sources gets to me all that much. I know that there's times when I'm not going to play as well as I want to or execute a shot as well as I want to, but that kind of comes down to where I'm at in that match or what's going on there. And what was the second part of the question there?
What is it about your game that you think puts you in people's list of ones to watch out for? What do you think your strength?
I think one of the big things is my consistency, my approach to how I come into a tournament or to a competition. I go in thinking, at least some of the smaller tournaments, you're going to have to beat me that day to win. So in the smaller things like our open qualifying matches and sort of house rounds and stuff like that, I go in thinking that I'm going to be the one to beat. You have to beat me. However, in these bigger tournaments, like Tyler mentioned before me, there's so many great bowlers out there. There's so many people that can win it on any occasion, and it's shown throughout the years that it's very, very difficult to have that kind of mindset. So for me, going into these bigger tournaments, for cash tournaments or provincials or nationals and stuff like that, it's just being prepared, making sure that when I get to the lanes and I need to execute, the time I've put in prior to gives me that consistency.
Awesome. Thank you. JB.
Hi, Brad. Kind of the opposite side of that first question. So you say that being one of those people that the crowd loves to watch doesn't add pressure, but do you, on the other side of it, do you feel, does it pump you up or make you feel comfortable? Do you know that you sort of have that reputation? And is that something that then maybe works for you out there, makes you help feel more comfortable, feel more supported, any of that kind of stuff? Or does it just, you just tune it all out?
I try to tune it out as best as I can. The first time that I really noticed this, I was not playing a cash tournament or anything like that. I was visiting some family up in Edmonton on my wife's side, and we had a wedding down in Calgary for my cousin, and it just happened to be the Autumn Open tournament, and I was like, oh, I've got a little bit of time today, might as well go check things out, see how people are doing. And I walked in the door, and there was probably 3 or 4 people that looked at me and said, like, oh no, there goes another spot. And I was kind of like, well, what are you guys talking about? Like, nothing's a given. Like, everybody has to bowl their game. Everybody has to execute to the best of their abilities to be able to make these cuts and make it to the championship Sundays. And that was kind of really the first time I'd really realized how high people in the bowling community actually thought of me. And it was, I've reflected on it a couple times, and it still just shocks me that if people see certain people walk into a bowling alley, it's they think that there's a less chance that they have to do things, but it's a reality, and I don't think I'd say it puts too much more pressure on me. I enjoy being able to perform under the high pressure circumstances, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it deters me at all.
Hey, Brad, just a question on how is the game these days? Have you been out practicing and playing and reliving the old glory days? And I guess furthermore is, do you know of anybody else that's been out there working on the game and getting ready local that's looking to play out there?
Up until a few weeks ago, I hadn't done anything. With work and with the kids at home and everything else going on, it's been pretty busy and pretty tough to get out. But after the open qualifying, and I realized that I wasn't happy with where my mental game was and kind of where I needed to be for the larger competitions, I've started just kind of tuning myself up, working on my timing, working on mental game and stuff like that to make sure that I am ready. So I've been kind of going over stuff like that over the last month, and I know that there's a few other people in Regina. I can't say who all it is, but I know that some of the guys that have made the Regina Open teams obviously have been starting to work on their games throughout the last month or so as well.
Nice. Thank you.
Hey, Brad.
Hello.
My brother says hi, by the way. I'd ask him today if he had a specific question for you because I thought it would be funny, but he said it wasn't appropriate. So I have a couple of questions, but because you kind of just answered one. But during COVID times, like when nothing was open, what did you do to stay focused on bowling? Like, did you mentally prepare? Did you go back like Tyler, watch a couple of videos? Did you ever take an opportunity to get out to a lanes and throw some games?
Through COVID, I kind of just didn't really do a whole heck of a lot with bowling. I focused more on work and family. Throughout the years, with all the bowling tournaments, it's tough having younger kids and remaining competitive. However, this past year, with things opening up and the actual reality of being able to host some of these large tournaments and being able to compete again, it's brought back the competitive juices and kind of encouraged me to get back into it. But in 2020, I played my one or two leagues. Outside of that, just due to tournaments not being played, I didn't think much of competitive bowling at all, to be honest.
Yeah. So if you had to go up both sides again, you feel like you could do it?
Yeah.
Pretty grueling.
If I had the chance, and I have the feel, I don't doubt that I would fizzle out at all. With the kids and being active outside and stuff like that, like my body feels good. Over the past month here getting prepared, I think my mind has came a long way since taking the year and a half off or so from competitive bowling. So yeah, I think if needed, hopefully it's not needed, but it would be nice to do it again. However, I know the reality of doing something like that is not that great. So I'd be happy running one side.
Thanks, buddy.
Go ahead, JB.
Yeah, Brad. We know how incredibly technically strong you are. You're smooth at a level that makes me in awe when I watch you. And I'm curious from inside you, like what aspect of the physical side of your game do you think is your strongest point?
On the physical side, let's see. I'm not sure. I think
it's just also good.
I don't know. Like I've got some, I guess, just natural ability on an athletic side. I've played a high level in soccer for a number of years, from high school up until probably about 5 years ago, I was playing kind of like a Division 1, Division 2 soccer. So through that side, it's with the nature of playing soccer, I guess my core and my legs are
You say your balance is fantastic.
are fairly strong. My balance is fairly good. So on that side of things, just being an athlete in general, I think that could potentially be a strength, or one of the bigger strengths.
And of
Back
course,
to the Romanian deadlifts then.
Yeah. We'll round it off with you, Brad, for what's your number, what's your cut. We'll be asking every guest this, of course. So what's your prediction?
I don't know. The lanes are playing all right. I bowl there twice a week, but you still need to throw a good ball. You still need to execute your shots. I've had great nights over the years so far, but I've also had some not so great nights that you don't really want to talk about. With who's coming in, from what I've seen from names and stuff like that, I wouldn't doubt it could be on the higher side. However, we've had most people coming through here the last 5 years are fairly similar. Let's go with 2182.
All right, we're in the same range, everybody. We're within 10. Still shooting 2200. Nobody's throwing out a 2105 for their guess. So, anyways,
Nope.
Brad, thanks for joining us. Obviously, looking forward to seeing you on the lanes and seeing you perform again. Like JB says, very smooth to watch and very enjoyable. So we look forward to seeing you out there, buddy.
Yes, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing everyone out there as well.
Right on. Stay with us. Back with our guest.
Mic's off. Mic is on.
That's you got the angles now.
Let's take him off mute. Mr. Mitch Davies is in the house.
Jimmy!
Welcome
Jimmy.
to the show. First off, let's start off with a huge congratulations to you, Mitch, winning the Timmins Invitational. Everybody followed along, seeing the stats, and obviously special congratulations on throwing a 450 in there. Let's just start there. Obviously, your full experience on Timmins. Go for it.
Yeah, Timmins was a great time to be back for bowling in Ontario, to be honest. I've seen a lot of questions that you guys were asking about COVID and whatnot, and I was just sitting here talking with two legends of Thunder Bay. We got Greg DeGrazia and Taylor Michelle here in the house. I was just saying, guys, personally, I thought bowling in my eyes was not going to come back in the same capacity, and man, I'm so glad that I was wrong. I'm so happy that bowling came back in the way that it did, and I was really happy to see all the people get back and just have a great time. And it wasn't even just the bowling, because the bowling was a roller coaster for me, I'll tell you that right now. But it was nice to just hang out with people, friends, have normality, and just experience that all together, because that was the most important part for me, was just experiencing it all with friends and having a great weekend. It was just surreal, to be honest.
Go for it, JB.
Okay, we're ready to go. All right, Mitch, nice to see you. What you just said makes me feel sad and happy at the same time, because I share your enthusiasm.
JB, let me stop you right there 1 second, JB.
Yeah.
Let me stop you right there 1 second. JB, personally, I want to say thank you very much to you. You bought the entire bowling alley a round of drinks on the doubles, and I know you're not looking for recognition, but thank you, man, because that made the night for so many people, and that was just that was an impressive thing and a gratifying thing. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and like I said, sad that I wasn't there, and happy to see the smile on your face, and I felt a little bit like I was there, and that was really great. But I want to talk about the perfect game, and in particular, I'm curious, has your mindset changed very much over the last, say, 10 years in terms of how you handle those games when you get to 8 and 9?
Well, let's talk about the ninth frame for a second here. I'm on lane 3 and 4. I believe I was on lane 4 for frame 9. I'm just about to go. I'm probably in my third step. I got my backswing all ready to go. And I guess one of the mechanics there, maybe we're working on a lane that might have been broken down, but all I hear is this drill go off like 4 times, like right in my backswing. And I stop. And I was just so much in shock that it was actually happening. I was like, is this for real? Like, we're in the middle of the playdowns, final 8s. Never mind I was on a perfect game. I don't care.
Right.
But it was like, this happened. And then, okay. So I had to reset. And you know what? All of a sudden, the pin chasers run down there, and all you hear is, turn that fucking thing off. Right? I'm like, oh my God.
So that's perfect. So if that had happened to you 10 years ago, do you think you would have handled it as well?
I would have snapped. I would have thrown a bowling ball down the lane. I would have lost it.
Okay, so what's the difference? What's the difference between Mitch who snaps and Mitch who just resets and throws a strike on that shot?
You know, I think a big deal of it is like just realizing like anything can happen in bowling at any time. It doesn't matter how good or how bad you are at any given time. Anything can happen. So whether it's a mental distraction or whether it's a you distraction, you've got to learn to get past those things, and you've got to learn to better yourself at all times. I think that's where I've learned maturity is the biggest factor in like how you can be better time after time. And that's the best way I can attribute to.
Thanks.
Hey, Mitch, after winning, Timmins, I guess, what are your expectations going into Regina? Are you on cloud 9? Are you looking to keep it rolling? This is as good as it gets to a pro tour when, a pro golf tour or any tour, are you back to back tournaments? Expectations still the same for you to go and perform as high as you can? Or is it like, it's not a big deal because I just won the tournament at Timmins? Phil Mickelson style. I won the PGA. You know what I mean?
No. We're not done here. You know what I mean? This isn't the end of the road. We're here to win every single time. I'm not Phil Mickelson where I'm 55 years old. I'm ready to call it a day on the tour. No, I'm here to stay, and I want to play well all the time. Just the same way, the same factors you throw the 450. You win that money and you think to yourself, oh, who cares? I win that money. No, go win the tournament. That's the most important goal. That is the ultimate goal. You go and you continue on every single time. You come to Timmins, it's Timmins. It's over. Doesn't matter. Win, lose, suck, play great. Go to Regina, same mindset. You walk in, brand new tournament. And that's why you've got to play every single game, every single match, every single shift.
Hey, Mitch. So I'm thinking about like first of all, congratulations, and I'll touch on your 450 in a second because I think it was a famous walkout. But we were looking at your Facebook posts, and on our Monday Night Bowling League this week, we were wondering, like, we saw the pizza party, and like, how many people went to the pizza party?
There might have been more people allowed than were allowed probably on Thursday at a 50% capacity rate. I don't know, but the pizza party on the Sunday night was pretty full. No one showed up that I didn't know, that's for sure. But it was a good time. Obviously, like, the winner always buys the meal. Unfortunately, in Timmins at 9:30 when we were done, there's nothing else open but pizza. So that was what we got for the third night in a row.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
When I think of the 3 big tournaments that happened already, so you have like Autumn Open, TPC, Timmins, obviously, and we have 3 perfect games. After coming back from a 1.5-year break, like, what is that saying for 5-pin bowling? I mean, like, that's absolutely incredible and unheard of.
I think the same thing to Stacy that I've said on the podcast, or I've said on the 5PU, and I just finished here with the guys in the room. I said bowling is now tougher than ever. Bowling right now, when we are playing against a field of young guys, old guys, professionals, amateurs, we're playing everybody, and they're in great scoring centers. It's now become more mentally draining than it's ever been. And it's unbelievable to see, unbelievable to watch, and unbelievable to be a part of. Bowling, like I said, bowling has now taken that next step. It's come back better than ever, and it's just amazing to see, and it's amazing to play in.
Absolutely. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah.
Hey, Mitch. Brett Hendrickson here. I don't know if you remember me.
Endo.
We bowled a couple times.
We might have played some MLB The Show here and there.
Yeah,
Eh?
no big deal. So just a quick question, because we're getting up against it. But so after a big long run in Timmins, are you absolutely charged up for the next one, or are you a little bit mentally exhausted from going so deep?
No, man. Like I bowled 23 games on Monday and Tuesday, leaning into Timmins. That stuff doesn't phase me. Like I'm ready to go at all times. My finger was pretty chewed when we played in Timmins. I was bleeding all over the ball and sometimes on the lane. But you know, you just let the finger heal. You let your mind refresh after a couple of days, and you come back, and that's all you can do. Yeah.
All right. Thanks, MD. JB's got one more for you.
So
All right.
what's the big difference between your approach on the lane between Timmins and Regina? Like, you know, what difference in line, difference in approach, difference in shot?
There's no difference in how you approach the tournament. And when you come to a line, you have your A line, you have your B line, you have your Z line. It doesn't matter. You go all the way down the line and you figure it out where's going to work on that weekend and what's going to work at that time. It's not always going to work because after one game and after 25 games, your body reacts different and your hands react different and your mind reacts different. You've got to realize what is going to work at that exact time. You come in there with your best line that you have or the one that's been working at that exact time, and you work with it, and then you see from there. Maybe it doesn't work in the first shift. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. Maybe it works in the triples, and then you're like, okay, I figured it out there. A big factor, what happened with me and Timmins, I had my worst shift that I've ever had since I was 15 years old at Timmins, which is a great scoring center. That means I played absolutely terrible, awful, horrendous. And I went to Greg, and I said, Greg, we were playing doubles, and it's best ball, and you get to choose who goes first every frame. And I told Greg, I'm playing first every ball, every single ball.
Sure you make a shot, yeah.
Because I'm going to figure out this line.
Yeah.
I'm going to play 20 different lines tonight, and we're going to figure it out. And then, I still didn't figure it out that night. I came in the next day and just took a couple shots where I like, that's it. I got it. And I lost it here and there, but I was able to find it again for the most important times. And I think that's the most important thing is that you got to keep trying and keep playing around.
Thanks.
Yeah, no worries.
Thanks, Mitch. Last thing, just give us a number, bud. What's the cut going to be?
You know what, guys? Like I said, I'm probably wrong here because I always am. But I would say 21.99. I'm going to go with that number. I think the bowlers that are coming to the center are top shelf. A lot of the Western players are all sharp. The guys who are coming from the East, they've just played Timmins. So, they're going to be fresh. Or at least into the game. I'm going to go with 21.99.
Nice work. Thanks, Mitch. Okay, let's we'll go on to the next one. Mitch, obviously, congratulations on last weekend. Let's see if you can go back to back. Probably hasn't ever been done in 5-pin bowling. Is back-to-back weekends winning titles. So a little bit of pressure on you. I'm sure everybody will be watching.
Thanks, Daryl.
And
really appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to be the only one. I'm sure chopping at your knees, buddy. So we look forward to seeing you, and we'll see you out there tomorrow.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, and we won't waste any time before we get to our next guest. So happy to see Miss Karen Armstrong, one of the Fab Fives. Karen, thanks for joining us. Happy to have you here. So excited. Are you looking forward to Regina yourself?
I am so looking forward to Regina. I just can't wait.
Yeah, so when are you heading out? Are you heading out tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning, yeah.
Yeah, nice. And playing yourself this weekend?
I am playing. I'm playing on Saturday. I'm waiting till the last shift to play, but I'm playing on Saturday, yes.
Nice. Well, it's going to be great to see you. One of everybody's favorites, I know, and you've even got your own T-shirt made after you. So the KFA T-shirts and the KFA fan club. So great to have you. But I'll pass it over to Stacy here. Stacy can go with a question.
Okay.
Hi, honey.
Hi.
So I'm wondering, I think what I really want to talk about is our Fab Five rather than a whole bunch of stuff other than, maybe a little bit of you've taken a few years off because of injury, because we know that happens. So have you prepared for that? But in talking about Fab Five along with that, maybe we could talk a little bit about how we can increase our female entries, because this year we only ended up with 3 new ones. So maybe touch on a little bit of both.
Absolutely. When it comes to the entries for the women, they just got to you just got to do it. It could be a confidence thing for a lot of the women. Because you're going to play against the men, and trust me, chick burns out there. You can do it. Anybody can beat anybody on any given day. It doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah,
when it comes down to it. And if you really want to get better at your game, you need to come play these tournaments. This is where the echelon is, and this is where you're going to play against everybody who's that little bit better than you, and you get better by playing against people who are playing with people who are better than you.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, what was the other question on that, Stacey?
Coming back, because you took a few years off, I believe, from the elbow.
It was torn bicep. I tore my bicep, and then so I was off for that one season, and then of course I'm back playing again, and COVID hits. So now it's been, how many years since I played in a national event? It's been 4 years now, I guess. So we're working on it. It's I got some work to do in Masters to get myself there, but
it's
never
like
give
riding
up.
a bike. You got it, riding a bike.
I'm
reading right now that there's 25 ladies signed up for Regina.
Okay, awesome.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
That's great.
Finally, everybody get them.
I was just going to say, I believe we are doing a draw tonight. Are we not?
We are. Yes. So let's just do that quickly here. First thing that we'll announce is that part of our initial Fab 5 funds and donations, we gave away 3 WCBT memberships. And Karen, do you have those 3 names that were the winners of those 3 memberships?
Oh, yes, I believe I do.
Let's do those 3 announced first, and then we'll move on to do a draw.
Okay. Just let me get Tracy back here again. I believe it was Katie Rayner. Jennifer Haas. Oh, come on. Help me.
Bev Magnus.
Thank you, Bev Magnus.
Yeah, so those are the 3 new members that
Katie
signed up.
Rayner.
Yeah. Katie Rayner, Bev Magnus, Jen Haas were the 3 new members who stepped up and entered. So the Fab 5 has taken over that and have some money coming back towards them. So that's awesome. Thank you so much. And then recent news here today. Fab 5 want to do a draw. So here we are again. We have 25 ladies playing in Regina. Come together again, ladies. Thank you so much. You want to pool some money together and want to do a draw for a free shift for one of the ladies that are playing. So here we have it. We've got 25 ladies on the spin the wheel. One of you will be getting your shift paid for by the Fab 5. 22 people in the list because the 3 members of Fab 5 are not part of this list. So if we're ready to go, Stacey, Karen, you ready to go?
Let's do it.
Push the button, see what happens.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
That's excellent.
Akira wins the free shift. That's fantastic.
Let's get a mother young. Here we go.
Yes. Wow. Good.
Awesome.
That's good. Akira, we'll get you. We'll figure that out over the weekend, and we'll get you that thing that sponsorship. That's great. So let's move on to a couple quick questions here. Hendo and then JB, please.
Awesome. Hello, Karen. Long time no speak.
Yes.
So, what do you think is more important? Having the guys on tour and in the bowling community being more active in recruiting and building up the female bowlers and getting them to participate and encouraging them, or maybe women going out and recruiting and grabbing the other ladies and saying, hey, come on, let's go get out here and play. We need more representation. What do you think is a bigger factor?
Oh, well, I think both factors are, you want both sides of the coin happening for sure. It may be that the younger girls might look up to so I call myself an older woman, just because we've been playing for so many years, that maybe getting a little a pep talk from one of us might be, or like Tracy or Stacey and all the people who are involved, Shauna and everybody, because they look up to you so much, they might take that to they might take it and run with it a little bit more. But definitely still want the guys out there to start getting, hey guys, you know that you should come play this, you know that he's going to learn so much. But I think it's definitely on both sides of the coin that we want people to work on it.
Thank you.
Hi, Karen. JB
Hi.
here.
Hi.
So, two things, I guess. First, I'm going to admit to being, I don't want to ask the typical question like, you know, why don't women feel more comfortable entering in these tournaments? I want to ask, is there anything about our events that seems especially welcoming that maybe not enough women out there know about?
No, I think numbers have a lot to do with it. There's a lot more men that play competitively than there is women. Women get more involved in as they're getting older and having children. Women do tend to take on those roles a little more than the men. The men might get away, which is an old style of thinking in my book. You hope it's not going to be that way. Certainly, I obviously had my share of time away, whereas my husband was a curler, but he didn't play as competitively as I did in bowling. And, you know, the roles could be reversing here. He's playing seniors. So I think that has a big part of it on what they're thinking. And, you know, I don't want to go play against the all these big names, Tim Wiseman's and Dexter Wiseman's and the Adam Webbers. And like, what am I going to do against them? Well, hey, like I said, anybody can beat anybody on any given day. It doesn't matter who you are. Yeah, I beat Gino Zebarth in the Manitoba Open when I won. So. And
as a man, I'm every bit as afraid to go up against those guys as anybody else would be.
Yeah, exactly. It's your sexual orientation should really have nothing to do with it. Work on your game, get better, and you can get out there and beat these guys just as easy as you can get out there and beat these women.
Yeah, and you know, if we're not being welcoming enough, then yell at us a little bit. I'm okay.
I don't see that very often. I don't see very many people not being welcomed into the community very well. Very often, but. It's definitely something you should go for. If you got the passion and you want to be that person and you want to get better, like it. I didn't play competitively until 25, and finally one year I said, you know what, I'm going to start playing. I've got to try this, and you just got to go for it.
That sounds good. And in that vein, can we get that wheel up one more time? Because I want to see one more winner, and yes. I'd like to donate this shift.
Woohoo!
That's awesome.
Nice work. Thanks,
All
JB.
Right.
Is it going to go?
Dawn?
Dawn.
Yay!
Dawn.
All right. Congratulations, Dawn.
Congrats, Dawn.
Good work. So we've got 2 ladies' shifts paid for. See, ladies, if you keep getting your entries in, maybe your shift's going to get paid for, and we have a big sponsor pool for the ladies only.
Exactly. Got to get out there and play, ladies. You got to get out there and play.
Some WCBT or 5PU, some KFA merch that all goes towards some females, perhaps a little channel there. I like it. Well, Karen, thanks again for joining us here today. Wish you all the best. Thank you for representing Fab Five so wonderful.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to seeing you here, buddy.
I can't wait to see everybody this weekend. It's going to be a blast.
KFA, everybody. We'll be right back. All right, next up, I know it's one of everybody's favorites, and they looked at the list and they were like, can't wait for this guest to come up at 7:30 p.m.
Let's just fill the lineup, right? Let's fill the lineup.
Here is Tim Wiseman. Tim, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. No, in all honesty, you're on the show because you're high up in the point standings. You've had a good season so far, and looking forward to keeping that going. So I believe we got Mr. Hendrickson is up first on the question panel.
Yes, hello, Tim.
How's it going?
Good. So, question for you: what is it about the Alberta community that makes it so tight? Is it iron creating iron because all the competition's so tight? Do you guys have any special events that you do? I'm just asking this question for some of the communities out there that might be looking to, tighten up a little bit and get everyone on the same page and really create that really strong community. And it seems like Alberta is the one province that's doing it the best. So what are some of the things that you guys do as a community that really brings it together?
Yeah, that's a great question there, Brett. Our relationships with everyone is really good. Our camaraderie is, I think, second to none. I really have to say it's from the people before us, the Bruces, the Lynns, the Ginos, all those people throughout our great province that really instilled. It's not just about what I get out of it; it's what we get out of it, and I really think that's been a trickle down factor across the province, and I can speak with Edmonton especially with that. But it's not. We're willing to go out of our way to help anybody and everybody out. It doesn't matter where they're from. And I also really think a lot of us, we all travel together. We play the Masters together. We play the Opens together. We play everything together. And there's not really a dull time where we kind of just go off and do our own thing. We're always as a group, right? And we're built that way together. And we put all our egos aside. And I think it's absolutely correct. We're super fortunate where we're at, and super fortunate that we have a bunch of great people we got to be role models on. That being said, now it's our time, the group of us, as I'm getting older and all of us are getting older, to do the same thing, right? And I think we have some really great up-and-coming young bowlers, and helping them develop and encourage them to go on to the next level.
Awesome. That's great to hear. How does that manifest itself at the out-of-town cash tournaments?
Honestly, when I can kind of attest. When I first went out, it was people like Daryl and Matt Schultz and all those ones. It's like, hey, do you guys need a ride down? Do you guys need to share a room together? How are you guys traveling there? Do you guys need to pick up at an airport? That's a big thing. First of all, you already feel welcome. You feel you're part of a group, not just by yourself. You feel like you're a team and part of a group. And it carries forward. It's like, hey, have you met this person before? Hey, and it's introducing yourself like, hey, this is Karen Armstrong. Have you met Karen before? Or have you met Gino before, right? And it's making people feel comfortable and welcome. And then you go for dinners together and lunches together, and then you maybe have a few drinks together back at the hotel or whatnot. But it's making sure these people feel welcome and accepted, because at the end of the day, we're just one person. We're not any better than anybody else out there, right? So it's about growing the sport and making people feel welcome coming to these events.
Thanks, Tim. JB.
Tim, how are you?
Good.
Excellent. So I'm looking at the credential they chose for you, and they labeled you as 2016 Autumn Open champion. This is not intended to be shade. It's quite the opposite. So, you're at the top level in spite of not winning events with the same frequency. I'm curious, do you value more winning that event or always being in the top few, always being in the top 5, always being in the top 3? What means more to you?
That's a good question. I think my answer is maybe a little bit unique from others, because I think honestly being across the board, always being up there, I think that means more. Obviously, the championship, it meant a whole lot to me. It felt like, you win one, you're kind of accepted a little bit more, or people look at you a little bit differently. You win a second one, all of a sudden, I think that's the real big one, right? So I'm hunting for the second one for sure. There's always never a time to stop and not want to move forward with something, or not set goals. But I think being there always and always being competitive, I take more pride in. I was telling Cindy a couple weeks ago was sorry, Stace, I saw your face down there. But I always want to be that person that always doesn't give up and always finds a way to move on, or never give up, find the extra points. And I think failure is something that always worries me, and I always try my best not to be a failure, right? In bowling terms, right? So I think being consistent is the best answer for me. Yeah.
for what it's worth, I think I respect the consistency more than winning.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
Huge fan. Stacy here. Wow. So I was going through like a little bit of conversations that you and I had on the side, and then I was actually talking to Cindy today, and I thought like, she probably has a pretty good question for you because I feel like I talk to you all day long anyway. So,
Yeah.
What's your secret weapon this weekend?
Oh,
Question mark?
okay. Yeah, she thinks she's my secret weapon, and honestly, yes, she is. It's been really good to have her come along and be there in certain events. Most times in the past, it's just been me, and it's always nice to have a great support system. So I'm excited to have her there, and I'm always happy that she's there and really happy that she's there to support me. It means a lot to me. Just it gives me a little bit more just to fall back on and maybe not get frustrated, or if I'm being, a dick, she'll tell me that I'm a dick. So it puts me straight back in my spot. She doesn't hold back. Then that's great. So yeah.
No, she doesn't. Seriously though, what is the difference in pressure between you running the TPC and now going to Regina, where you're not the proprietor there?
Honestly, I think there's more pressure, and I say that just because when you're at TPC or I'm running around doing all that kind of stuff, like same as Dexter would or any of our committee members, our mind is somewhere else, right? And sometimes that's a good way to be a little bit distracted. So you know what, you might not be so like involved 100% all the time. I find it. I lived and worked in a bowling center for so long. Whether you're bowling or just there, you're always going to be doing something, right? So I find when it's just bowling, I think there's a little bit more. There's a little bit more pressure because there's no excuses, right? You have to perform, right? Yeah,
totally.
Tim, looking at the tour points, WCBT tour points, you're up there. Does that weigh on your thoughts as well, as far as, I want to have a good finish this weekend to ensure that I'm in the tour finals? I mean, let's be honest, a good finish this weekend probably solidifies your place. Is that something that you're thinking about before you're playing, or is that something that really comes afterwards once you see the results?
I wouldn't lie if I said I haven't looked at the stats. Yeah. I think it does. You always want to look at it and see where you can do better on. Obviously, a top 4 finish or a little bit higher, maybe the 8s would give me a better amount of points. I know looking at it in the past, that point total for me, currently speaking, it's never been that high for a cut for the tour finals. So I feel confident in that spot, but with how many great shooters out there and how many people still able to play, I'm not set on that number, right? So I want to make the tour finals. I want to have a chance to win it in my home center. I'm not going to lie. I think that would be something that I would always cherish.
Nice. Well, let's wrap it up with your prediction for the cut line, bud.
Yeah, so Dex and I kind of talked about it today. He always thinks I'm lower. I always think he overshoots shit. So I said on Tim Hooper's post today, I think it's 2175. And I say that only because, one, I already posted it. Two, I think there's a lot of people from out east that not playing. There's nobody from Quebec. Mitch is the only one from Southern Ontario. And there's some bigger name shooters that aren't coming. But that being said, you have 150 great bowlers playing. I still think the scores can be there, and the scoring at the center is still good. But 2175.
Well, we're getting lower out there, so it's good to hear for the likes of me and the rest of the commentator panel, right, Hendo? Well, Tim, I know I joked earlier about one of everybody's favorite, but in all reality, you are one of everybody's favorite, and we always go to bat and we always support you and want to see you do well. So we're looking forward to seeing you on action this weekend on the lanes, and the best of luck to you out there, bud.
Thanks, DB.
All right, let's bring our next guest up. So on the WCBT tour, past champion, TPC winner, Derek Gall. Welcome to the conference, man. First question from me is, how do you back it up after TPC? Obviously, do you feel the pressure that you have to repeat performance, or is it now you can do it, so it's just kind of back into the groove and you can get it done?
I mean, I'm fortunate enough that was my second win, so I kind of learned from the first one 6 years ago where I did put a lot of pressure on myself and didn't perform very well. I kind of listened to a few of the other interviews, like Mitch said, every tournament you have to approach the same, like win or not. There's like no magic formula that I can just like bring over that gives me like a huge edge. Everybody's practicing so much and doing every little thing they can, like any mental drills, physically, nutrition to get an edge that, me winning again would be like awesome, but it's not expected. Again, it's, goals you set to make the cut, then play well. And then if it progresses, obviously win is the end one.
Hey, Derek. I'm wondering what your pre-week looks like. So are you like going for a massage? Are you throwing a bunch of games, Cairo? What do you do to prepare before you go?
I actually did physio today, so my shoulders are sore. Hopefully they'll be healed by Friday morning. But usually just playing. I actually usually like to go 2 weeks before and start throwing balls just to figure things out. Make sure everything's sharp. For Regina, I'm not getting as much practice as I wanted. My girlfriend actually bought a house. I've been helping her move in, so that took up my whole last week. So not
So during
ideal
weeks.
for my like pre-routine stuff, but usually it's like for 2 weeks trying to get in every day and just work on things, trying to get myself ready for situations that could come mentally. And yeah.
Thanks.
Hey, it's Brett here. I
Hey, Brett.
remember bowling on a Baker's team with you, the winner of the 2021 TPC, Brian Hurst, the winner of the Autumn Open, and Mark Miller, and I'm good every 3 frames. I obviously blame it on Mark Miller getting wasted and ruining our chances. But anyways, question for you. So was there any point during the Sunday playdowns at the TPC where you kind of got over that hill where you said to yourself, you know what, today's my day, like I'm doing this thing? Or does that ever come into play for you?
The night before I was laying in bed, had the whole like couldn't sleep because I was nervous kind of thing. I was laying there and I kind of said like, why not me? Why can't I win? I've gone deep before, why not? But as far as the Sunday, the first time it probably crept into my head was when I beat Dexter, because it was one of those matches that we weren't playing very well. It was like really greasy, like lots of spares, just like ugly. And coming out through that, I knew like that was the one I was gonna get away with, and now I can like figure it out and run with it. Like that was the one I had to win, because it's not gonna be like elegant the whole way through. Like if you're bowling that well the whole time, then you're doing like Tyler or Slided where you're just crushing both sides. But to me, like I've been deep a few times and there's always a match where it's just hard, where you're just grinding, and sometimes it's easy for the other guy and you just get dummied. But for that one, when I won that match, it started to creep in, where it was like, okay, we have a shot now. We're halfway there. We can do this.
Awesome. So how is it going back to just like league play, or, like a Masters or something, after winning such a big, prestigious cash tournament, and then you go bowl 3 or 4 games in your league? Like, what is it like the first league night back after something like that?
I mean, all the like league bowlers that don't know heard about it, so they're asking all these questions like, how much money do you win? Where's the trophy? How big is it? That's like so cool. You're just is cloud 9 for like for sure like 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month, where it was just I'd go back, watch the videos just to like get that feeling again. Like it's probably one of the coolest things I'll ever do is winning that. But yeah, like as far as league, it felt like it was so easy the week after. Then obviously like I'm only playing 3 games a week, so I started to get worse and worse and being like, what the hell? I'm the champion. Why isn't this easy anymore?
Thanks, JB.
All right, Derek. So yeah, you mentioned that having won your second event, you were able to react differently than you did the first time. And I'm curious, was it more like suddenly you noticed you were reacting differently than you did 6 years prior when you put all that pressure on yourself? Or did you did you sort of think to yourself, hey, wait, I've done this before. I don't have to panic now?
I think this time I was kind of ready for the highs and lows. Like when I won Red Deer, it felt a little bit lucky, whereas this TPC, it felt like, I was in it the whole time. I was focused. Like I was throwing the shot I wanted, like every ball. Like Tyler said, how like those last 30 shots, it was like he was hitting his mark every time. Like the end of that TPC, I knew I still had like lots in the tank where I could like be really aggressive mentally and like focus really hard and not get tired. And I just ran with it as long as I could. There was never a step or like a time in those last 9 games where I let up. Whereas like at the start of the day, it's early, you're kind of like, slow. It was just knowing like get through those first couple matches and then try and get momentum. Like playing that many games, you're gonna start to get good muscle memory. Things are gonna start to get easier as long as your body can hold up. And that was one of the things that I worked on. Like when I won Red Deer, I remember the next day I like could barely walk because my body was so sore and so tired and just out of shape. And after TPC, I was totally fine the next day.
So was the way you won TPC as much of a factor in how you reacted as the fact that it was your second?
I think what I meant from the earlier one was like how I'm gonna handle Regina coming up. Like after winning Red Deer, coming to the next tournament, I was like Mr. Big Chest, like Antonio Brown, where I was walking around like I'm the best. I just won. Like, come get me. Like, I'm the guy to beat, and didn't play so well because I wasn't focused on what I do.
Right.
I was focused on what everybody else thinks.
Yeah.
And I think the big time between that's helped me be a lot more mature, a lot more humble with stuff like that. Obviously, I'm still very confident coming into this weekend from that win, but I'm using it as a tool in a different way than I did the first time. I think I'm using it to kind of help me and keep me like level grounded and using it to help me get better for this one.
Well, hearing that, if the field's not terrified of you, they should be.
Yeah, absolutely. Derek, do you play the trios and the bakers as well?
I'm not going to play the trios. I know I'm on the same flight as Carrie, and I know he's going to get a cab to the airplane on the tarmac and try and make it, but I don't want to try and rush myself. I want to get in, settle down, stretch the night before and try and get myself as ready for it as I can. I don't want to like jump into something that's $200 that I like just got off a flight for. So that's just me personally, but I'll play the 2 Friday shifts. I'll play the bakers. Team asked me to fill in for them, so that'll be good. Hopefully I'll have made the cut by then and can go full Mark Miller.
And you can enjoy yourself on Friday night. I think that's everybody's plan, even for those that are playing tomorrow afternoon, Thursday. So,
yeah.
Well, obviously, lots of people got eyes on you, Derek. You got great points in the tour as well. Fine shape for the playoffs. Best of luck to you this weekend. We look forward to seeing you out in the lanes defending, the last title.
Thank you.
All right, gang, stay with us. Next guest up, we got a good one. All right, Montreal Canadiens fan. Here we go, everybody. 2017 Player of the Year, 2016 Regina Classic champion, the one and only Len Anseth. Len, thanks for joining us today.
I'm glad to be here.
First things, obviously, I'm sure you've noticed or you've been told that your lovely daughter is the recipient of a free shift being played for her. Have you already tried to claim that away from her, or she quickly said, no, that's coming to me?
Nope. She's pretty excited. We're all pretty excited. Thank you very much to the Fabulous Five.
Right on. Well, we'll start off. I believe Hendo is up first.
Sure, might as well, eh? Hey, Len. Hope you're enjoying all that money you won off of me playing poker over the last couple years. So, what is it about your game that allows you to play at such a torrid pace?
I think it's very misleading to think that it's any kind of strategy anything like that. I go fast because I don't want to hold the ball in my hand. I'll get nervous. I sit up there and I get on the approach, and if I don't start moving and going within a second, I just start thinking too much and I just freeze up. So that's basically a way of dealing with the yips or the jitters, I guess. Yeah.
So, with how fast you play, at what point do you start making an adjustment?
I do a lot of self-analyzing all the time on every shot, and yeah, generally speaking, I'm just running over things. That's why I'm always pacing. I'm walking around and I'm running over in my head what I want to do and how I want to throw, and that so that I don't want to think about it once I get up on the approach. But I'm doing nothing but thinking about it when I'm off the approach, pretty much. So yeah, so I guess that's why it looks like I'm so quick when I'm on the approach. But I just do a lot of preparation on the way to the lane. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you, JB.
All right, Len. I was thinking of you tonight as I was working on trying to get my ass moving a little bit faster than I used to do. Maybe too much thinking out there. So thanks very much for being one of the voices in my head. So you won this event 6 years ago. And what would you say is the biggest difference between 2016 you and 2022 you?
Oh, I don't think there's a lot of difference mentally. I just think physically there's a lot of difference. I've since then I've had my shoulder replaced on my throwing arm, and this year it's just been kind of one shit show after another. I went to Calgary and hurt my leg. Really didn't throw a ball again until about 2 days before Edmonton, and then went to Edmonton and buggered up my elbow. So I got tennis elbow now, and so wasn't able to throw a ball up until about 3 weeks ago. And 3 weeks ago, about a week before our open roll-offs, I tried to throw and found a ball that would work that I could throw over, and played the open and did all right there. And then right after the open, I thought I wanted to try and start working on a backup, because that's what I want to throw at this house. And yeah, I've only really been able to throw it for about a week here now, and I'm still just working my way up to being able to throw 8 games and feel good about throwing it the next day. So the biggest difference, I guess, between the 2 years is going to be in my head on just, I've got no expectations. I think 6-7 years ago I would have had expectations. I don't have any expectations for this weekend. I'm more excited to watch my daughter play and see how she does in her first tournament. I'm not going to lie, I want to do well, and if things fall into place, I'm hoping it all does, but I just don't have expectations for a very successful weekend. I'm just looking forward to actually getting back and throwing again and just feeling how it's like to be in a tournament.
Well, we're going to have fun watching you, whatever happens.
Len, can you chat a little bit and evolve on that a little bit with, your family and your daughter coming to play? I mean, how cool is it that she gets to come and play in these tournaments and on the circuit that you've, made a name for yourself on? And is there any lessons or any advice that you're giving on to her, or what's her experience going to look like?
I don't really we talk about bowling a lot, but when we kind of talk about this tournament, and I've kind of let her know. I kind of let her know that it's you're bowling it to get experience, and I'm just trying to really keep her grounded, saying don't go in there with a goal of that you're going to make a cut or anything like that, because frankly it's it would be awesome to see, but it's probably that's probably a pretty lofty goal at her age. So I just want her to go there and bowl and see for herself that, judging on the way people throw and their styles, that it's not like anybody's throwing the ball that's significantly better than the way she does. So I want her to feel comfortable with how she throws, and then it's just a matter of, once you're comfortable that you feel like you can go on, then it's just a matter of getting the right thoughts in your head. So I'm just hoping she's learning, taking this weekend as a learning process and seeing how things go.
Hey, Len. I think first off, I know exactly how you feel, and I couldn't be prouder of both those girls. And I'm so excited that Akira won the draw for us. I think that's fantastic. I had a bazillion questions for you, but it was the one from Rich. And Rich wants to know, how is your back feeling? Because he needs to know if it's good enough to hold up him and Kevin in the Bakers.
I think, Rich, that $75, you might as well just take it and light it on fire.
Can we sub in Akira instead of Len?
That could be a strong possibility, yes.
I hope you have a great tournament watching Akira. It's nothing better than actually being out there and watching your kid do that. And I know that you and I have been at nationals together with our kids, so it's a proud parent. It'll make you better too. I think it pushes you and pushes all parents to be better, right? So you never know. No expectations. You might come out flying.
Yeah, no, I was very surprised at how exciting it is to watch your kid play. It feels a lot better than I ever expected it to. Like it's just enjoyable watching them succeed. And so far she hasn't had a lot of hurdles that she hasn't been able to overcome. And it's just enjoyable to watch.
Well, that's awesome. Rich just texted me and told me to tell you need to start stretching now.
He's right about that.
When are you heading out there, Len?
We're actually heading up tomorrow morning because we're gonna play that 1:30 shift.
Oh, Thursday afternoon. Nice. Okay. And then do you play Bakers and trios and everything as well, as much as you can?
I am playing the Bakers. I signed up for that. The trios I didn't sign up for, but I believe I am going to be taking Joe Mancher's spot. So
Gotcha.
yes, I will be playing the trios. Yeah.
Well, the best of luck to you out there, Len. I know everybody loves seeing you and hearing some Len stories and watching for the snipers out in the crowd to see if anything's going to happen. Hopefully none of that this weekend, but obviously best of luck to you, Len, and we'll see you out there. Your prediction for a cut. We didn't ask on air last time, and Derek Gall says 21.87. Karen Armstrong says 21.77. So we're all in the same little wheelhouse. What does Len Ansat say?
22:03.
We're going over the 22s. Mark it down, everybody. All right, Len, thanks a lot. We'll see you out there. We'll let you go land the plane that's happening in your office over there. Take care, bud. Like that. All right, next up we have president, we have tour points leader, we've got the man who does it all. Except for tonight, you're kind of hanging in the background and taking a night off, Kerry. What's going on? Why aren't you front and center here, bud?
It feels a little weird as you guys are crushing it though, so I'll take back seat on this more often, that's for sure.
Well, we've got some pretty good questionnaires out there, so it's all them. But thanks for joining us. Obviously, like I said, Kerry, you're points leader right now, and that's a big thing. So, JB's up first. Lead us off, sir.
Kerry, you have become a master of the self-deprecating humor, and I think it's nonsense. And especially the fact you're the points leader right now. You got to be feeling really good about your chances going to this event. What do you think is going well about your game right now?
It's kind of funny to talk about something like that. Like, yeah, I've been very self-deprecating over the last few years. It's been tough to maintain that level of play, I guess, over a course of time. And here I'm thinking it's my game, it's my physical game and stuff like that. But what I've learned over the last year or so with my play coming back to the level it was prior to was mental. I just wasn't paying attention to the stuff I should have been paying attention to. So that's been a big course over even these last few months, is recognizing what I'm missing out on and paying attention to it. And it's paid dividends. Even this this last Thursday. I came off like 3 great weeks. I only play 1 league a week. Had 3 great weeks. And then I just had an absolutely brutal week. Shot under 600 and didn't understand why. It felt all the same.
Not just me.
And then, so then I go in to pre-bowl for this coming Thursday because obviously headed to Regina, and I figured it out. And it had nothing to do with my physical game. It just had something to do with the way of thinking, what I was aiming at, and stuff like that, and it clicked again. So it's keeping those mental notes as you get older. I guess that's just something that you have to pay more attention to.
Well, and there's a clue in what you said, when we first started here about, how you could be a little more hands off with the media side. And so do you feel like you're able to put a little bit more energy into attending to the mental part of your game because maybe you don't have to be quite so controlling about every aspect of the 5-pin universe side of things?
Yeah, for sure. And even the WCBT side of it. We've gotten lots of people in the background that have, I don't want to say stepped up. They have taken on new responsibilities and are really taking control of stuff that I felt I need to be in control of. So that's opened up my time to think about what I was doing out on the lanes, even though I did have some success in the middle of the WCBT, even with holding on to all of that, right? So I'm glad that these people have stepped up. They've been huge supportive, and I'm looking forward to the future possibilities of me playing where I think I should be playing.
Welcome back.
Don't say it's a comeback yet.
Carrie, now talk a little bit about the number of different balls or the changes that you make in your strategy going into the Golden Mile. Obviously, Derek talked about you getting off the plane, you take a cab and try to get to the lanes right away. Is that more because you want to get some balls and some action and you want to throw some balls right away? Or is it because you don't want to let a team down or you want to play that? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, is that why you want to play as much as you can so you can adjust and you can play with the different lines to figure out what's going to work for the weekend?
Yeah, there's definitely an underlying reason to play as much as possible is to figure that stuff out, because as I found through my career or whatever, I have tons of energy, so I don't ever really think I'm ever going to run out of that, at least in the meantime. So the more play I can get, the faster I can figure stuff out and that stuff, because everybody knows I make quite a few changes and stuff like that. But I found out that I'm a pretty decent Thursday player at these tournaments, so I want to make sure I get in there and hopefully get my money back early.
Right on.
Hey, Carrie.
Hey, Stace.
I think we all call you here anyways the busiest guy in bowling, because you just seem to be running and taking care of everything, and really truly have put bowling back on the map across the board on so many different levels. So apart from going to Regina and hopefully in your mind winning, what's a goal? Like, what's your success for the WCBT 5-pin universe? Is there like a number of spectators you want watching? Do you want more memberships? What's the end kind of goal for that?
I don't ever think there is an end goal, right? It's to continue the growth of the sport, and in coinciding that the WCBT and the 5-pin universe, without 5-pin bowling itself, those associations, those companies don't exist. So it's promoting 5-pin bowling first of all, and then in that reflection, hopefully WCBT grows and 5-pin universe is as a happy byproduct that we get to produce content for the 5-pin community, right? So without the people bowling and the spectators watching the live streams and stuff like that, those simple associations and companies don't exist. So it's just continued growth and as much effort as it needs to continue that.
So maybe I'll put you on the spot here a little bit and think maybe in the future, maybe is there time for a youth program to come into the WCBT 5-pin universe?
Is this an exclusive? Not from my side or my outlook at what 5-pin universe is doing itself, but that's not saying that somebody inside of those companies, those associations, isn't working towards that. And I really do hope that a youth program does become a part of either one of those. But as we all know, this is super time consuming just the way it is. To add a whole nother side of it is astronomical at this point in time, but it's growing, so you never know.
I think it's in your future. Thanks, Care. Good luck this weekend.
You're welcome, Stace.
Hello, Carrie. Brett here.
Hey, Brett.
So you've admitted that you are a tinkerer. So what's plan A this weekend? And then what's plan B? What's plan C? And what things do you need to see from the pin reaction, the way your ball's reacting, to make those adjustments?
So plan A is playing the line that I always start out with, a little bit left to center with a hook shot. I got a new set of bowling balls here probably a month and a half ago from Phipps Bowling. New set of soft drills. Sorry, well, I almost said the bad word. So set of soft drills, and it's my plan A. It's not so much about pin reaction. Well, a little bit. It's more about what the ball's going to do on the lane. Obviously, my first shift of the main event is going to be Friday morning, so it's going to probably play pretty straight. It's going to be on fresh oil. So making sure my ball isn't doing weird things down the lane, first of all. And then when it gets to the pocket, just carrying that corner. With my speed and the bowling balls I used to throw, I'd get lots of blow-throughs or heavy splits. So hopefully with the new bowling balls and the way I'm playing right now, I will carry those corners and I don't run into issue.
So what's plan B then? Let's say you start in your original line and you're getting a lot of blow-throughs. What's the next step?
Yeah, if I'm getting a lot of blow-throughs early, I'll jump right. Still playing with a hook shot, and that'll be plan B. And if that doesn't go, then it'll be to a lighter, smaller bowling ball. That's kind of my process. I got two major lines I like playing the most, and then it's a ball change. And if that's all hoofla, then it'll be playing a backup like I'm 18 again.
And then comes the liquid adjustment. Am I right?
Yeah, you never know. It's always good.
All right, JB.
Boy, I don't know. I'm wondering then, what's plan A or plan B from the mental side for you? Like, how are you expecting to feel your way through the event? And what's one thing that maybe you got to watch for going on inside your own head?
Yeah, so for sure. So the first game's going to be a big one, right? It's going to be making sure, like we were talking about, the reaction on the lane is solid, and getting out to a decent start and not shooting your foot early. But mentally is just staying in the game, not getting distracted, not worrying about issues, just focusing on my own game, focusing on what I've been practicing over the last few months to try and achieve what I'm shooting for, right?
Well, best of luck to you, Carrie. We're not going to let you off too easy before you go give us a prediction. We've got anywhere from 21.75 to 22.03. So what are you thinking there, sir? What are you shooting for?
21.88.
21.88. Said with confidence. Well, let's hope that we don't have to see Carrie Kreitz on plan G or H or M or O or P. We know that things aren't going well if that's happening. So that'll be a common question we'll be asking you. Hey, Carrie, what plan are you on right now?
Always plan A. Still plan A.
Plan A. Always just getting started, right? Just getting started. Yeah. Well, best of luck to you. Travel safe. Good luck to you tomorrow night. Hope your flight arrives in time. And all the best. I'm sure we'll chat with you along the way, buddy.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
All right, and last up, I'm not sure why we waited until the last one. This guy's probably the most tired out of anybody right now, going on with a new baby. I it might have been an opportunity that we were going to just take 10 minutes and meet little Mason. And there he is, everybody. There is Mason.
Podcast debut.
Yeah.
He's awake too.
Yeah. Let's just start off there, Mark. We haven't chatted with you a little bit here. How is parenthood? Congratulations. Everything must be just roses and smelling just fine, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, today we're hoping for some more smells. We're waiting for some poops today, but everything's going really good. Yeah, definitely some good nights and some bad nights, but it's been a real joy and a lot of support from a lot of people. So it's been pretty awesome too. So yeah, it's been a wild ride so far. The last month has been pretty crazy for sure.
Well, that's exciting. I know we're all happy for you, and it's great to see, and a little future on our hands. So we'll go over to Stacey. We'll go over to Stacey.
All right.
Okay, buddy. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I have two kind of, maybe they're not always bowling questions. First of all, where did Mason get all that hair from?
I have no idea. Jen had heartburn the whole time, so we kind of figured it was coming. Jen had a lot of hair when she was born, so we figured that's.
Oh, I see. I see, buddy. And she's letting you out for the weekend. You're going. You're having your first daddy weekend away.
Yeah, that's. I'm pretty happy that she's able to let me go. Her friend's coming down to visit, so she's gonna help out. So I don't know if I would leave her by herself for 3 or 4 days, but.
So what are you looking forward to most then this weekend, being your first weekend kind of away and back at bowling?
I joke around and I say I'll get more sleep going to cash tournament this time, which could be true. But I'm looking forward to competing. But playing the pro league really well and playing TPC well, and yeah, I'm just excited to competing, getting the tour back rolling again, and seeing how everything shapes up.
Well, I think you'll just jump back in. Riding a bike, you'll be just fine, except for missing the little baby cuddles and missing little smells here and there. But I wish you the best of luck, buddy.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, hi, Dad. It's Brett.
Hey,
So, as somebody who's had some of the longer sustained success, considering you've been good since the 80s, I'm just kidding. So, hey, I had the pleasure of bowling with you in Winnipeg when you came to St. James Lanes. And I got to say, when you're playing well and you're dialed in, it's very infectious. So you're definitely on my list of guys that I like to play shifts with. So I know that you were talking about some of your own struggles. When did you see the other side of the hill when you finally figured it out and you're like, okay, like I'm back, like my game is where I want it to be? Did you have to play more? Was it just finding the line? Was it a mental thing? Like what was it that got you kind of back over that hump and playing as well as you are now?
I think it was a combination of things, but just getting mentally sound. Just went through some rough times for a while, a few years ago, and just getting myself mentally sound, that helped. And then I started getting myself, I lost a lot of weight and I was getting pretty skinny and malnourished, I guess you could say. So getting myself physically back in and working out and getting back into shape, that helped my mental game too. Doing a lot of researching in the mental side of things and whatnot. I did a lot of those things. And then I started getting more games in, started playing Masters at the beginning of the year, playing a little bit more, every little tournament, playing Pro League helps. And just taking it a little bit more serious. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks. JB.
Hi, Mark. So cliches are cliche for a reason. You know, your whole mental life changes in an instant. And I'm curious if you have already noticed any differences in your mental preparation or approach to this tournament as a result of now suddenly having this wonderful thing happen in your life.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I feel like I have a little bit more focus. It's kind of like giving me a purpose in a way.
Mm-hmm.
I want to succeed to show Mason or to be a role model, right? So, and then I'm kind of like, my opportunities might be limited. Who knows what could happen too, right? So I'm like, I'm actually like trying to be a little bit more focused, and it's bringing me into that type of mental mindset. So in case I might not have too many opportunities to do it down the road. I don't know. So
there's going to be a lot of showing Mason video of how you bowled the first tournament after he was born. You're going to be bugging him with that when he turns 5, 6, 7 every year.
Yeah, and I'm hoping it's like showing me bowling good and showing some cool stuff and me getting fired up here and there too.
Yeah, I'm sure we'd all love to see that.
Not seeing why did you leave me after my first month of life for 4 days?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I still get that, and my kids are 15 and 11. And why do you leave, Dad? Because I gotta go because I need my time. But Mark, speaking from the WCBT side of things, obviously Regina Classic, great to have on tour. It's been 2 years since we've been there, so just chat about how good it is that the WCBT is back full season. And here we are at Regina getting locked and loaded for another great weekend.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to have like a full season again this year. Been 2 years for Regina. Regina definitely like them and TPC kind of battle for the most entries every year, and it should be pretty close to that again this year. It's a great stop on tour. One thing I like about Regina is I see a little more people from East, so a little more Manitoba, generally some from Ontario. I mean, this year's a little different because the flight costs from some of the out East places are really expensive, so we might see a little bit less of them. But you do see a little bit more of the people from Manitoba and Eastern Canada at this event. So it's kind of adds to the tour in that way. Not sure how many more entries we're going to get. I think we're at 86. Sorry if I answered somebody's question already, but hopefully get over 100. So we should be pretty close. We've got 2 events left, so you can still have a chance to sign up.
Right. So there's 2 events left for WCB. So you can still sign up. If you haven't signed up already, you can sign up this weekend. Your tour points would qualify you potentially for the tour playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. And that's in August 13th.
Now, as well, let's talk quickly about WCBT merchandise you've got coming. I know there's 5PNU merch coming. Obviously, custom shirts by Johnny. That side of things quickly. The branding representing all the associations there.
Yeah. First off, shameless plug. The hat I'm wearing. It's one of the first classics that we did and is really popular. I have about 24 of those bad boys I'm bringing to Regina, and it's been like 2-3 years since we had them. Everybody loved them. A lot of people asked me about them, so if you want one of them, definitely have them in Regina. I got some new toques too, small run of those. We have lots of 5PNU stuff, hats, hoodies, sweatpants, all that kind of stuff I went through today. And then we'll have shirt samples and sizing samples for custom shirts by Johnny if people want to look at those as well. Also, we'll be taking memberships before every shift. So I think Michael Wist is going to help me out with Thursday shift because I won't have a chance to be there. But yeah, we're excited. Let's sell some merch. We're probably going to do some blowout prices. We got to move some product. Look at towels, water bottles, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome.
So Mark, Carrie told us a little bit about coming to the wisdom of delegating and stepping back and letting other people run a little bit more of the show and how that's helped him. Clearly, you probably find yourself in a similar situation where you're going to have to face some tough choices about how much energy you can bring to all the things that you've been trying to do over the last several years. So is there something in particular that you are really looking forward to being forced to delegate to somebody else?
Yeah, I mean, that's came up in conversation with Carrie of how that's going to look, or succession planning eventually too, right? I mean, I think some of the things that I struggle with is like all the stuff that I carry around from place to place.
Right.
I have a full SUV of merch and banners and signs and all this stuff. So Wist is helping out with signs this weekend too. He took them after TPC, which was a help. So I think a big help with some of that stuff. Even in the future, maybe scheduling some merch table help. So we don't have to stand at the table the whole time. Just trying to find other duties, other people that can help out with other things like sponsorships maybe and things like that, and start to branch out a little bit and maybe grow maybe grow the board a little bit too.
Hmm.
That kind of thing.
Well, I know as someone who occasionally helps out that it really helps me a lot when you can say, hey, we need this very specific thing. Because when it feels like a big responsibility, I'm not sure that I can really step in. But if there are little tiny things that I can do to help out, it's a lot easier for me to make that commitment. So if you can sort of present it that way to the community and say, here are some small self-contained things that we need help with, I bet you might get a little bit more help.
Yeah, Mark needs to start asking for help too. Mark's bad at that.
Yeah,
and
I understand.
Even the magazine. So I've you helped me with the magazine article, and I apologize. I planned on getting it out before Regina, but circumstances happened. And I wasn't able to.
No, that's not acceptable.
So I do have an article from JB, and I got one from Tom, and I wrote myself an article, and Carrie's going to provide me an article, and then. So I do have a lot more people branching out, and I'm going to do a nice longer magazine and have a lot of content, and it should be a good one too. So
sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
and I'm sure after this weekend we'll have a lot more articles that we can add to it. So
exactly.
Last one from you, Mark. Of course, the good old. What's your cut line going to be?
Yeah, I hummed and hawed about this because a couple people kind of took my number, but 2179.
2179. We are all in the mix. There's still some available out there. Well, yeah. Mark, thanks for coming on. Obviously, representing WCBT, representing New Fatherhood. You know what? We'll enjoy our drive tomorrow. I hope you make necessary preparations to enjoy that drive, and we'll see you in the morning, pal.
We're fully prepared, and we'll see everybody tomorrow night in Regina at some point.
Right on. Thanks, everybody. Stick with us a sec. We'll wrap it up with the four of us, and we'll be right back. Thanks, Mark.
Travel safe, guys.
All right, let's see if we can get everybody back into this. There we go. Media. No, let's take that off of there. Carrie, exit solo. All four of us are there. Now we're in there. Gang, what a great press conference. Thanks so much for joining us. Before we leave, some final thoughts from you guys, and let's hear about maybe some bowlers or some things you're looking forward to seeing this weekend. And of course, we need a cut prediction from each of you as well. Stacey, let's start with you.
All right. Well, first off, I'm super excited that Akira won that draw for the Fab Five and for Dawn. But Akira being a young up-and-coming bowler female, that's exciting. Might entice some other people. I'm looking forward to seeing if we get another perfect game. I think having 3 events and 3 perfect games, I think that's phenomenal. If we could keep that going, if that actually happens, I think that's taking 5-pin bowling competitiveness to a much higher level. Like, I mean, we could go through seasons without having a perfect game at a big event, right? So I think that's something to really look forward to. I always look forward to Regina for the stats because we don't get to go very often. It's a hard time for me to leave work. So they have the best stats that they put out. It's so easy to just go on and you can pick and choose and follow everything. So that's pretty exciting. I would be remiss if I didn't say, gosh, I really want Marcel and Rich to do so good this weekend because it's my family. I don't really have a top shooter. I think there's so many good ones. I mean, obviously you're going to look at people that have played well, right? Like Mitch is just coming off that huge win. He's there and Tyler's playing really well and he's there. But I think there's a whole lot of people that are playing. The talent is so good that I don't think there is just one. But I do think that they all guessed really low on the cut. And I'm going to say my cut is going to be I'm going to go with the 2s. So 22-22.
Wow. Big cut from Stacey. Wow. All right, Hendo, you're up, bud. What are you going to see this weekend?
So I'm going to get very specific. I think the way it's going to play down is I think it's going to be Tyler Titgat and Mitch Davies in the final. I think one of them is going to knock the other one out on the other side in the 8s or the 16s, depending on how it shakes down. And then the other person's going to beat the other one in the final. All right. I think that's how it's going to go down. I'm looking forward to seeing all the young bucks from Manitoba head out there and keep getting that experience. We did have A few people have some success in Calgary with Colton Uswa, and of course, Dwayne always doing well, and Alyssa Campbell just had a huge Masters tournament. She bowled 1600 for 6 games, and we have so many great players coming out of this province. So I always look forward to seeing how we do. And in terms of a cut, I'm going to go 22-23. And why I say that is you're saying, oh, it's so low. But let's keep in mind in 2017, a young man from Manitoba, well, not so young, bowled a 22-24 and finished 32nd. Okay? So it can happen. These cuts are going to be high. Everybody's fired up. Everybody's playing. So it's going to be high. I think we're going to go crazy. And I'm not going to mention who it was who bowled that and finished 32nd, but he is bitter about it. I can tell you that for a fact.
Nice. JB.
Well, the first thing I have to say is that as annoyed as I was at not being at Timmins, I'm equally annoyed that I'm not going to be there. That was the plan. I was supposed to do both events this year. It was going to be my first WCBT event. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. So I'm going to have to look forward to Ontario in the summer. And I really don't know what to expect from the event. I think that, I don't know about individual people. I think it's all the usual suspects are going to be up there. This is definitely not the event where I'm expecting any kind of surprise dark horse winner. I think this is going to be the best of the best beating the crap out of each other, and whoever happens to figure it out the most by the end is going to win. This is not the kind of field where someone can come out of nowhere and get on a run. And I'm with Brett. I in fact, I'll raise you. I really think the cut is going to be absurdly high because everybody is going to be up for it. And so I'll say it here, 22-40. And I think that might be low.
280 average to make the cut.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I think that might be low. I think, in fact, I'll even say I'm thinking at least five people are going to shoot over 2,400.
Wow. Excellent.
Wow. This is shaping up to be fantastic bowling. I hope you all predictions come true. That's some amazing bowling that we probably have never seen in the game to this level. And, a couple of our guests mentioned it. The bowling is at the best level it's ever been right now, right? Show me a time period that bowling has ever been better than it is right now. And the highest level of bowling is the peak. And it's great. And the people that are playing keep pushing each other to get better. And yet there's more people who want to play to keep getting better. And it's really inspiring to see. I think I'm with you, JB. As selfishly, I'd like to see a dark horse come from the back and sort of make a run on it. I see the big names going at it. I'll throw it out and say that within my own little circle, of course, the 5-pin you guys, I'm looking for Carrie, for Adam, for Dexter, for Tim, and then of course Johnny. I'll root for my man there and see what can happen. But as far as a cut, I don't think 22-40. I think that's really high and aggressive. I'm going to go with 22-11. But I would. So we got some numbers out there.
If anything has happened over the last 2 years, it's that the elites have really been forced to take in the time to understand the critical importance of the mental side of the game, and they've probably become scary good at it. And I think we're going to see somebody who has made a huge jump in the last couple of years really show up in this tournament.
And I think that bowling is going to continue to get better. We are going to see 22-40, 22-50, cuts. People are learning from each other in a fast way. The mental side, and the amount of things that we learned tonight from people on their mental preparation, watching themselves bowl. Tyler stuck out to me, going through old CBCs and old Regina classes and watching it. The game is going to get better. I think in the past, people thought about doing it, and I need to do some prep. And, there's a few outliers, of course, the Tom Pattersons and some of the guys that are so mentally strong in the game. But across the field, mental toughness has become so important that it continues to push people to higher and higher levels in the game. And it's awesome.
It's become a real arms race.
Yeah. And awesome to be part of it. So,
yeah.
Well, thanks again, you three, for being part of this press conference, 5-Pin Universe, WCBT, Regina Classic, all mixed in.
Fab five.
Yeah.
Fab five.
Fab five, absolutely. Yes. Awesome to see a couple of draws. Thanks again for stepping up. Wonderful support in the female community. See you all tomorrow. Drive safe, fly safe, bowl safe, play safe.
Have fun, guys. Good luck.
See y'all,
folks.
Yeah. See y'all.